Hello, it's Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. White Gay in the building. How you doing?
I've been up since 1:30.
Why now? What happened? Is it Uncle Theo?
No.
Really do? Or what?
Uncle Theo is okay.
What happened?
I just don't know. I will just wake up like that and then I can't sleep. So I decided to quickly exercise. So I exercised.
From 1?
No. About 3. From 3 to 4.
Okay.
Oh, so you've not slept at all. So sorry about that. But after we leave here, you're going to sleep.
No, I have to go to the office. I have some things to do. Yeah, on Tuesday, the same thing. I just fell asleep in the office. I was just like this. Everyone was looking at me. I said,
I think your sleep time is changing.
When I got home, I slept the sleep I haven't slept in a long time.
Okay, let me come to you, Nima. How are you doing?
So you can always catch up.
Fine. One Oma is happening on Saturday. I'm moderating the international session. That's what
Nice.
because the list of sheikhs from that I'll be moderating are the ones from abroad, but we are prepared. And it's my elder sister's birthday tomorrow. KK.
Fantastic.
I hope you're watching. She's the immediate elder sister to me, and she's been my best friend. My twin sister all our lives.
Nice.
Happy birthday. I love you
Happy
so
birthday.
much. I wish you many more years.
Wonderful.
So today our guest co-host is an activator, an inspiring communicator, and motivational teacher. She leverages her gift of storytelling in teaching women to be powerful and ambitious without losing the essence of who they are as a woman and as a relational being. She's also the founder of House of Tara International, a company she has run for 25 years. Until recently, she transitioned the business to a new managing director. Welcome with us, Tara Fella Durotoye in the building. How you doing?
Very good. It's wonderful to be here, finally.
Tope will be
I'm the
jealous
only
at home.
I
Yes,
know.
you'll be jealous. She actually came to the office for something else. She didn't know you're around. Should have come down. How you doing?
Very
Anything
good.
going on business?
Very good, very good. Thank God that I always say to people that I love governance, anything that has to do with structure and
Right.
building for the long term.
Right.
So it's always inspiring to see businesses, for example. There's one of the businesses I want to talk about today about longevity.
Right.
So to be able to hand over my business to a new managing director for me is one of my greatest joys. And I'm happy to be able to look at it and say, grateful that I got the chance to do so.
Fantastic. Good. Mariam Longe, how are you today?
Fine. So I have birthday shout-outs to my two good friends, Kasena. Kasena, happy birthday, and I'm wishing you the very, very best. I know it was a few days ago, but you're always on my mind, and happy birthday. And then there's Rashidat Etudai, Mommy Aliza, happy birthday to a wonderful lady, and almost a family member even. So yeah. That's a shout out.
Fantastic. And today is the Director of Programs and New Media for Larry Olukunle. Today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, Ogami.
Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday, Folari.
Yeah, so I mean, he's, I don't know if he's going to bring small chops for the office or
I
whatever.
has to. Let me send you
I'm
WhatsApp.
hoping to
Yeah,
celebrate.
you don't eat again. Should be your
I don't like
diet.
it. I weighed myself today.
Hey.
I may not see it on national television, but I've gained 5 kg. From where I had, I was coming from 103. I came all the way down. Now I've gained 5 kg again. I need plantain chips this morning. Usually when I come in, first thing is plantain chips.
Is the coffee?
I have stopped plantain chips.
Because when you were eating plantain chips, you lost weight.
No,
It's the
it was, I know I overate plantain chips. I had to.
So plantain chips is actually quite
Yeah, because of the cholesterol, even the oil they used to fry it. It's horrible.
Yes,
So I had to stop
it's
it.
very addictive.
But plantain, isn't plantain supposed to be good for you? Vegan.
Not the ripe one.
Don't ask me.
Ripe one has
Ask me.
sugar.
I'm asking.
Ask
No,
me.
you're not a vegan. You are.
I just
Keto.
eat healthy.
She's a healthy eater.
Just
right?
eat
Keto.
healthy.
She's keto. You're not
I
keto
don't use
anymore.
keto.
You're not doing keto anymore.
I eat healthy. I've always
Do you
tried
do
it.
keto? Yes or no? Say yes or no.
I'm eating healthy. But again, grilled some healthy.
Don't put
I'm
words in her mouth.
trying
Right?
to be.
Just asking
Every
you
day
yes or
stop
no
us.
Like,
question.
you still can
Yes,
be
I do.
understanding.
way I'm
Asking
stubborn.
about plantain. That was the question you were
Yeah, I say, is it
asking.
part of keto? Or
Oh, no, it isn't. Yes, because it has quite a
Okay,
high
let's go on a break. Hello,
sugar
I know it's Thursday, it's our gisting day. You like to be very playful today, but first of all, you have to look at the papers of the front pages of the
Serious
papers.
papers.
Before you start dancing and playing and messing up the whole stable.
The cut of
Stay with us.
Cut
We'll
of
be right
Waike.
back. Waike, and sleep.
that's our work.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
we're going to start with The Nation. Lukarawa's terrorists will be flushed out soon, says Ribadu. $30 billion investments attracted in 17 months. Omokri, it's ridiculous to categorize Tinubu as CIA asset. Federal government targets $10 billion for stable power. FCCPC restates warning to discourse over meter replacement. I'm sure Nima took that story. Erudite scholar Professor Dari writes on U.S. election. And Wabote explains $35 million controversial refinery deal. Okay, which story are we starting with? The Nation?
Let me start with the Minister for Power, who says that we need 10 billion. So speaking during a meeting with the Director General of the Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission, ICRC, he said that the government plans to engage private sector in raising a portion of the $10 billion. A portion, I don't know whether it's the 5, but he says it will happen in phases. So they will have within the next 5 years to 10 years to eventually actualize a steady electricity supply. And I hope that Nigerians have the patience to wait for it, because where we are right now, it didn't funny. So he talked about financial and technical needs of the power sector. He talked about vandalism. He talked about what we need to do to ensure that we have 24-hour power supply. And his emphasis, of course, is on the $10 billion that needs to be raised. I'm also hoping that they're talking about securing, infrastructure around the power sector, because vandalism, as he mentioned, is happening to us. So basically, that's what the story is about, hopefully.
Okay, another story?
I have FCCPC and the DISCO. So they say a battle line may have been drawn between the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, and electricity distribution companies, the DISCO, over the phase-out of obsolete meters whose deadline ends today. As you know, I've been taking the story. We know FCCPC had given a warning, that the DISCOs cannot charge consumers for the new meters that they are replacing the old ones with. And the DISCOs are insisting, if you like, pay. If you like, don't pay. When it comes to the deadline, then you would see, what happens. So as we know, they're asking consumers to pay between $134,000 to $234,000 for the replacement of these meters. And the deadline starts today. So consumers are worried, they're worried, who do they go with, And FCCPC, understanding how they feel, says that, I would like to read what the statement says here. It says that, I can't, but in summary, right, it was just saying that the Commission is really shocked by the adamant posture of especially Ikeja Electric and Eco Electricity Distribution Company, Eco Disco, and also has warned them that if they do anything to flout the directive that they had given initially, that they will face some serious consequences for their action. So we're waiting today. The deadline kicks off today. We haven't heard anything from the DISCOs beyond what they had said initially, when they are insisting that consumers must pay for this replacement. So
I'm not sure if FCCPC is empowered to they can't regulate, obviously. NERC is the regulator, but I don't know if they can actually take them to court or sue them to court.
No, I think they can, because there's an act, and that is what they're referring to. So if they insist on taking money from consumers, they'll be contravening that particular act.
Yeah,
so they can be taken to court.
Say, the new meter, contrary to recent rumors, the approval of the new meter prices by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory NEC, that it has no connection with the proposed replacement of the meters by Unistar.
So the ongoing investigation by EFCC, so the immediate past executive secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, that's NCDMC, Mr. Wabote, has refuted reports of his arrest by EFCC. So there was a story that broke that $35 million was being investigated, and he said they had called me to their office, and I told them I was out of the country, that I won't be back around until Tuesday, and that's when he went there. If you recall, EFCC had reportedly arrested Wabote on Tuesday over $35 million energy infrastructure park conceptualized by Atlantic International Refinery. He was saying that he wasn't arrested. He was just called for a conversation, and he explained that there was no fraud case involving Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited. So he also debunked the allegation that NCDMC, under his watch, made a bad investment in the Atlantic International Refinery Limited. So we'll see how that goes. Any other story in Nation? Let's move on quickly now to The Punch. Government post, Shatima APC big week storm Ondo PDP campaigns for Ajayi. ATMs empty as banks ration withdrawals. Missing man found dead near Ogun Stream. And Okwebolo fires perm sex dissolves board. Tara, do you have the ATM story? Let's have that story quickly.
Okay.
While you're looking for that, why you want the missing man?
Let me take the Okwebolo story. So, you know, we have a new governor in Edo State, and 24 hours after swearing in, immediately directed that all boards be dissolved. Agencies and parastatals within the state be dissolved immediately, according to his pressman, his chief press secretary, make I put that well, Fred Itwa. He has ordered that all the agencies be dissolved, all PAMSECs be dissolved, and it extends to PAMSECs outside the civil service. Also, he has ordered that immediately all collection of taxes within the state should be stopped, and has ordered the Commissioner of Police to arrest anybody seen going around doing collection of taxes. Also, he visited areas within the state and mentioned certain roads in Benin that must be immediately at least put palliatives on those roads. For now, he boasted about, I won't say boasted, he mentioned that he has promised the people that he will fix the roads, he will construct roads, and that he would, he has hit the ground running immediately. But the problem of Edo State, yes, because I need the Benin Auchi road to be working. It's not just roads. We need plenty of other things, and I hope we'll see that. We'll see him covering the entire sphere of things in days to come.
Wait, 1 second, Mike. Let Tara come in here with her story.
Okay, so the automated teller machines of, so ATMs are empty as bankers ration withdrawals. This is coming out of Punch. The automated teller machines of deposit money banks have consistently remained empty in recent months as banks grapple with sustained low cash supply. There's conversations around the fact that it's not, even though they are not, we're not able to get access to cash from the ATMs, what you will call the point of sales operators have been fulfilling this cash gap by basically selling cash to customers. And, you know, it's terrible. And going down with the conversation, you can see that they're talking about the regulators wanting to digitalize the entire thing. But, you know, I think that one of the problems is that we're not planning properly, right? There has to be proper planning so that you can think about what are the contingencies that we may experience, especially with the customers. We are customers, but we're now being treated like slaves. Banks are supposed to serve us, but we're basically serving banks. I was going to take my mom was going out of town, and she asked me, I wanted to give her some cash. And so we're on our way to the airport. And I just stopped on the road and said, you know, let me go to the ATM machine. Obviously, I haven't done that in a long time. So I got there, and everybody was looking at me like, who is this person from out of the blues, right? Went into the bank and said, oh, I want to cash 200,000 naira. And you won't believe that. They refused to give me. Eventually, out of facial recognition, someone says, we can give you half of that amount of money.
Because there are no cash within the banks, and the banks are being silent. They're active, so the POS operators have to buy cash off marketers. They go into the market because those people are
should be paying
in banks.
my own money.
There's a
limit buying my money.
Not only that, these bankers, a lot of them own the POS.
Yes, machines right there. Yes.
Two, go to parties. This one that EFCC were running after Bobrisky. They are still selling money. I still saw it last week at a party. They are still selling money. So what is all this?
My cook, when she does her shopping list, she will put at the end the cost of getting the cash.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It's money,
Because there's a percentage.
If they don't regulate this now, it's going to get worse. I mean,
what are they regulating? Do the banks have cash?
If they don't have cash, how do the POS operators have?
Buy it off the market women who are holding their cash.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, And now, the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's all we can take.
I choose to stay.
Ejeki, close the show, G. Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Check it out.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah,
Today we'll go hear him.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. TVC Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Were killed and many of them injured, and then also they were able to kill, I think, a couple of the terrorists as well, but those ones, when they were leaving, they left with their corpses. So that is where they are right now. They said they caught them off guard and left many of them killed and wounded. This is such a sad story. Thank God we have our army. They've deployed even more troops in the community area to try and see how.
They said they have been there for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this one that they're calling them new, They have been
Not
there
new,
for
they've
6
been
years. They have
Well,
occupied
maybe
the area
new
for over 6
in
years.
comparison to Boko Haram. It's Boko Haram that they are comparing them to.
Well, the
6 years is not new.
It's not actually.
In 6 years ago, now 6.
Maybe now they're organized and they now have a name, and maybe that's why, I don't know. But the major headline is Undo's the political parties. I mean, the elections are coming in the next few days, and obviously they had a mega rally yesterday. And trust, for the love of me, I don't understand why plenty governors will just gather themselves for mega rally. We have Kwara State Governor, we have Ekiti State Governor, our Lagos State Governor is there.
Mega.
The mega, all our governors now go there.
Mega is big.
Then the vice president was there, Ogun State Governor was there. I mean, they all went there to go and support the candidates in Akure for the elections coming up. We'll see how that goes. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. FG puts cost of fixing power at $10 billion. FGI hits $30 billion as customs meet 5.79 trillion revenue target. NNPCL, Dangote signed 10-year gas supply deal. How Tinubu's mining sector reform is drawing global attention. Gunmen killed 2 soldiers in Abia, and angry patients protest blackout, lack of water supply in UCH. Oh my goodness.
Very
Who has that
funny.
story?
You know that the Minister for Power is from Ibadan.
From where?
Moyo. Sure. The UCH is University College Hospital Ibadan, and this hospital has suffered 17 days of blackout because the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company decided to disconnect them over unpaid bills. Now, the hospital management is complaining that they have been moved to Band A, and they get about 80 million to 99 million monthly, and they cannot afford to clear it. Now, this has cost the hospital some new costs. Patients are lamenting, and now they led to this protest. 99 million in a month.
That's a lot of money.
So I think they're just being treated like a shrine. It's just a strictly business. They don't understand that it's hospital. It's not a hotel. You know, it's hospital where people's care is important.
You see, if they were giving you this bill and you didn't have to buy diesel, because even they are complaining that they are still buying diesel on top of this bill. Look, last week we didn't have lights. They still brought a bill, yes, for 2-point-something million. And we didn't have lights, so we have diesel bills and we have NEPA bills. It's ridiculous. So this FCPC or whoever they are, they should go.
I would like Ibadan Disco to come. Busola means
when I saw Chief Odunto here the other day, I was vexing that I wasn't sitting here with him.
Patients who have to do surgeries, who have procedures to do, you know, imagine the waiting list.
And the cost.
Please, the minister, the federal government, and the governor of Oyo State should step in. This is a national.
And the governors need to get creative because now you have power to generate electricity in your state.
Exactly.
The government needs to come and
they need to get creative.
Yeah, but in the short term, please.
Adelabu and the federal government.
But this continuous bills.
Even if you are going to give us
going to power.
Maybe you will make sure we have lights now.
You will subsidize it.
Give us a bill and we are still buying diesel.
It should be subsidized.
I believe that there's also a problem with rent of
500.
Yes, how did they accumulate
550,000 on diesel?
bill?
No, and I still got a bill of 2.something.
Let's pick another story in Daily Sun.
Then you come and tell me that you come and pay tax. Which tax?
Okay, let me take NNPC. Who has a story? Anybody in that story in Sun? Okay, I was hoping to take the $30 billion FDI, but I can't seem to find that story. Let's go down to Vanguard. There's no that story in Sun. Why you don't have a story?
Let's move to Vanguard.
I did, but
you're still vexing.
I'm vexing. Go on.
Sorry, I know.
I'm vexing.
You didn't get enough sleep. Then Shine is getting 2.something million naira bill. We understand. Yeah, 63 years old. We understand. Vanguard.
This one is not serious.
What's this emphasis about her age?
I know my age.
She's jealous of my age. I don't even understand.
She's not jealous.
That's it. She's jealous of your age.
Thank you.
I'm grateful that I can reference you all the time. You're a healthy, active, vibrant 63-year-old, and we're proud of you. Moving on to Vanguard. Insecurity. No one dares Tinubu and wins. NSA wants terror group, says Lukarawa. Adetiba, Akiode, Aibogun, Reverend Dunakpo, others celebrate Vanguard at 40. How federal government's mining sector reform is drawing global attention. With 99 Constitution Angel, Gabriel can't save Nigeria, says Anyoku. And sports, Morocco 2025, Super Eagles seek qualification in cheetah steer. Sarah, you have the major, Vanguard at 40? Yeah,
yes, excited about that. I love to see Nigerian businesses that just grow and grow. 40 years is no joke. That's like, 70, almost my age, right? So Adetiba, Akiode, Aibogun, others celebrate Vanguard at 40. What's interesting is that Adetiba was the first editor of Vanguard. Mr. Femi Adetiba, Kem Adetiba's
So
father.
good as any relation.
Yes, and he was there celebrating. Agbogun as well, who's the publisher of Business Day, or the founder of Business Day, but also was the first business columnist at Vanguard, was also present. And it's nice to see them continue to fondly call the publisher Uncle Sam Amuka. It's always a joy to see that. And then the first female columnist as well, editor, was Mrs. Helen Oviageli. I remember her from those days, and she was also present. So they had a ceremony, they had a worship service and a Thanksgiving service, reiterating their roles, and then going back to history and talking about when they first started. And Adetiba talked about that, how there was basically nothing, and they started from scratch. And as an entrepreneur who's built from the scratch, or being a part of anything that grows, I know that this is a lot of hard work. So well done, and congratulations to Vanguard.
Sam Amuka is someone we respect. I mean, I read so many articles from him, and it's someone you study. Even when I was in
used to write this article, Sam.
Yes, so it was really, really fantastic.
So I have the NSA story. So NSA yesterday at the Controller General of Customs Conference in Abuja was talking about the new bandits that Miriam just took the story. The Lakurawa. And he said, this is Nigeria. We will finish them. Whatever they call themselves, this new group, they've made a mistake. No one dares Tinubu and wins. No one fights Tinubu and wins.
Who is that? Who's talking?
Ribadu.
Okay.
No, Ribadu. They said the terrorists were in many parts of the country and were killing them. Go to where Boko Haram was operating down. There's silence there. And we'll deal with them. Go to Niger Delta, there's silence. That is why we can produce 1.8 billion barrels per day. And he brought a very, very distasteful reminder to me of former governor of Kaduna State, when he did, the bandits, and to even take the credit of the military who give their lives daily and put it at the president's table, it's too much politicking for me. Watching it yesterday, something just off.
It was very distasteful.
It was bad, right?
It's like I said,
the Nigerian army. I used to grow up, even in the military era, there was, whenever they talked about banditry or any of these things, they talk about the strength of the Nigerian army, the officers who are on the field, who are giving their lives, and to see the NSA do so much eye service and...
it's not necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary. Just be professional and focus on the fact.
Simple.
Necessary.
Focus on the fact.
First and foremost, he went there, he was representing the president. You went there to represent the president, you are now president.
And you are now... you personalize the entire battle. We're talking of a nation.
You are kissing, I don't want to.
Well, his background is not military, is it?
No, it was just
so maybe he does not understand that. He needs to. Not that I'm excusing it. I'm saying yes.
But I know.
You're human and you're Nigerian. So
what is he saying? Why was he talking like that?
All he needed to say was, you can't mess with Nigeria.
Simple.
What
we're coming for you.
That's all. One word messed it. But he did too much. I think a lot of them, even the Senate president, to me, they're overcompensating for the roles that the president has given them. The work he didn't send them.
Exactly.
You see them doing it. A lot of things that they do, please just do your work. And
it's a characteristic of our Nigerian politicians. They need to really purge themselves of that need to be a sycophant, to be patronizing. Take yourself away from it, because leadership is about inspiration.
Exactly. And the custom officers seated
and honor their service,
You will see them. They were all at the video. Watch the video. They lost interest.
Exactly.
He was talking to officers who have left their families. Those one were like, if we work finish now, you will send our president.
Okay, any other story in Vanguard which you run?
Yes, I do. The former Commonwealth Secretary General,
Chief
Emeka Anyok, who yesterday warned that if Nigeria refuses to abolish the 1999 Constitution, development will continue to elude the country. He said this at the launch of the book, A Noble Academic and Patriot. This is a biography of the Emeritus Professor Akinjide Oshuntokun. It was held at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. He said that the divisiveness on the performing economy, resultant massive poverty, the insecurity, the humongous corruption, and other major challenges currently facing Nigeria, could be linked to this 1999 Constitution, and he's urging the National Assembly to not take any longer in, finding a way that we can reverse from that. He says before that, this particular constitution were a country that were more united and were headed towards development until the military came and all this, and this new constitution. That's why all these issues, we have them. And he said not even Angel Gabriel can help us if we don't change from this constitution.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Welcome to the sacred month of Ramadan, a time of reflection, renewal, and spiritual growth. Throughout this show,
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. AJ, can you close the show, Father?
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musiki.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah, pole dancer does not strip.
You're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never.
Thanks for staying with us. So, our hot topic today is about the Japa situation. There was a tweet that we saw on social media from Mr. Olukayode Bakari, who said, 4 successful children, 2 living in Canada, 2 living in the US. 2 are doctors, 1 is a nurse, and 1 is an IT expert, and they all have amazing families. But they're all too busy to check up on their mother for over 2 years. Unfortunately, the woman has died, and now they're all planning for a befitting burial for her. A woman who died lonely, sad, and didn't have an opportunity to see her grandchildren who have left years ago. Now, this is a story that's all too familiar, because especially in the last 10 years, that there's a huge exodus of Nigerians who have gone to different parts of the world, and there was no real plan of how to ensure their parents in Nigeria are better, especially those who did not go with the right system, right paper documentation. They can't come back. Those who go with the right papers can actually come back once they do their documentation, but those who just use traveling visa, you can't come back, that's it. So how is it affecting families? How do we ensure that we reduce this, this separation that we've experienced in recent times? Interesting, there was a story that happened very recently, about 2 years ago. A man, he was 86. He had about 3 children, and all of them had traveled. They didn't come back. He went to see them 1 or 2 times, but he felt ill. He didn't have the strength to travel. Unfortunately, they couldn't come because they also tried to work on their papers. So they hardly come around, but they just talked to him over the phone. When this man died, he had a bit of money. He didn't have so much money, but he owned a school, a few things here. He handed everything over to his nephew, who stayed with him, because his nephew and the wife were caring for him, checking up on him. His will was specifically to his nephew and the wife. Unfortunately, the children then came home for burial, hoping to see daddy's property, and the lawyer said, sorry, daddy didn't leave anything for you. And then they are taking that matter to court, saying that they are the biological children of this man and this wealth belongs. So there's a lot of drama going on in this situation. So what are your thoughts? How do we resolve these dramas? How do we prevent it? Or how do we manage it? That's the conversation. You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your comments. Who'd like to go first, Nima?
Okay, so for me, this story is in 2 parts. The last one you took is about just entitled children, and the other one is, children who lack compassion. And the older I get, the more I see these things. We never used to think about it. We just used to think our parents would live forever, they'll be healthy forever. But the older you get, you start to deal with old age symptoms and other things. And you see this happening. There's a woman, my former cleaner at the office, had to leave to stay with. She had raised her kids. She built a house in town, in Lagos, in the middle of Lagos. She raised her kids, and, for economic reasons, they needed better pay. They moved abroad. And the woman thought they were all doing well. She didn't know, old age and illnesses can happen to her. Now she's alone. And the children said, okay, what we will do is just hire someone to stay with you 24/7. So my cleaner had to leave office work and, spend all her days with the woman. But at night, she still sleeps alone, that old age and everything. Sad. And so that's where we expect. The way we are built as Africans, there's always one person left with a parent. And, children are used to giving up some luxuries to care for the older person when they age. But what we see now is that there's so much Oyibo. There was this motivational speaker who was saying, you don't make your kids your old age plan. And it was all focused on the monetary, material part. Like, the kids having to work and give you something was a sin. And blaming the parents for even aging. This is the natural cause of life. When the Quran says, in your weakness, in her weakness, your mother had you. In her weakness, it's a circle of life. That's the way I was raised religious-wise. In her illness, in their old age, you then pay back. It's a circle of life. That's the way. It's not about whether you have money, you're broke, you're rich, you're anything. We've become so materialistic. We've lost compassion. Even if it's a few months a year, you need to see your parents. You need to at least see them. Even if you have the wealth to have an entire staff around them, you cannot input in those staff compassion. You can pay them. So because of that, you have to pay unexpected visits along the bloodline to that parent. It's important.
Okay, let Mariam want to jump in?
Yes, I do. And I hear you make a very strong case, for children who lack compassion. But I also know of people who are unable to make these visits, not because they lack compassion or they do not realize that they are meant to visit their family, but they just cannot afford to. Because sometimes it is the difference between making sure I have food on my table and taking care of my family and then paying the the ticket fares to Nigeria to come and see the family. And in different ways, they try to keep in touch. They're using their devices. They understand that it is not sufficient. They are heartbroken that they cannot be there, but this is their reality. And so when we talk about this Japa syndrome and some of the costs that comes with it, this is what we're talking about. I know of people who are so sad because they finally visited their mother. Maybe, you know, they had traveled for many years and then finally came home, visited the mother and left. 2 weeks later, the mom had passed on. And you don't have the money to come back again in 2 weeks, you know? So this is just something that many people are dealing with. And that is why when we talk about making sure that our country works, we're not just talking about, you know, they're just so, the cost is just so high. What are we saying, you know, when we understand the human angle part of this thing, maybe then we'll wake up and do better. You know, sometimes these people who are abroad, their parents put all their money together to send them there. First of all, they made that sacrifice. They wanted their children to have a better life or better opportunity. So they understand. In fact, it gives them joy to see that they are thriving where they are. And they understand why they cannot make it back home. So sometimes I would like for us to see that there are people who look at, who are in that situation. Not everyone has that mentality of just being, having no compassion, because there are some people that live in this country with their family and their parents and still don't visit them. Those people clearly have no compassion.
Okay, let me come to you, Tara. What are your thoughts on this?
So, I mean, I agree with both of them, but I also want to charge us who are younger parents that soon our children are going to be in the same situation, because many of us have already started sending the kids out earlier. The chances are they're not returning. And so we need to begin to think about how are we going to function? What are we going to do? How are we going to design our lives? But I think one of the most important things, though, is to make sure that you invest in a deep, committed, intimate relationship with your children. Sometimes we get carried away thinking that by funding things, that is what building relationships is all about. Unfortunately, it's not. Sometimes the children can come back home, but they don't feel compelled to, because that relationship has not been cultivated enough.
That's true.
And so I would say to us as young parents now that we must invest. And many of us are probably not going to need our children's money, right? Because we've been trained to be more aware financially. We'll put structures in place and what have you. However, remember that it's not going to be all about money. It's going to be also about the deep attachment and intimate relationship that you share with your children, especially fathers. Especially fathers.
We'll come to that in a minute, because there's something Nima touched on that I'd like to also maybe expand on, because she was saying that the natural course of life is such that the expectation is that as I grow older, I want my children. But in this new life, in this new system, the reality where parents now are probably expected to have their own money. Don't tell me to come and start paying your hospital bills or feeding you. So how do we marry that natural course of life where, because I know when I was growing, my mother would say, yes, you're working, I don't need your money. But even if it's 10,000 naira, you buy credit. I don't need it, but just my blessing, God, my Lord that will bless you. So that's how, but things are changing. That mommy doesn't need my money. Mommy is Tara Ferrado, she has a business. I don't need to send her even $10. She's okay. So do I still, is that now normal? Is that a new normal, or how do we marry back both? That's my worry.
I think that we have to think about our context, our cultural context. I train what I'm doing with my children now is, if you go and get a job, you must give your mommy money. You must put down, ask yourself, I'm going to pay tithe. When I finish paying tithe, I'll give grandma X amount, I'll give daddy. This is a training that we're training our children. It's all our responsibility to do so. I think it's about how the children are raised. They are raised to see the importance of giving and generosity. And it's not really only about my parents. It's about generosity of what you have, right? And training them to be generous enough to think that I must buy a gift to my mom, I must buy a gift to my dad, I must send money home to them, not because they necessarily need it, but because it's my own way of showing generosity.
Mikey, your thoughts on this Japa matter?
Well, since I have a daughter that lives abroad, recently I've been thinking, my own mortality is because I'm 63.
Only.
Only. No, but, I think the mistake that we make as parents is, like Tara said, the long-term plan. For me, in my own household, we lived together, which was the African way. before was families lived together. Yeah. They didn't. It's the Oyinbo way now that mommy, daddy, in the African way, it was community. It was community, so everybody looked out for each other. So if we start to develop that system again, it will solve this problem of my child is there.
Be realistic, YK. Your child is there because I see what you say. Because I know your household. I know that in that your compound, everybody lives together. We've been there. But your children are likely to do that because they're different parts of the world. So how realistic is that to expect that?
I disagree with you. I disagree with you because it has been
part of them.
You know, that's how they've been brought up. Rolary doesn't come. Rolary tries to make sure she comes home at least once a year. Yeah. At least. Minimum. You know, and sometimes it's twice. Yeah. And when she comes, she doesn't come for 2 weeks. She comes for 2 months, 3 months. She will come. She will, husband.
And she's in that same compound.
And she's in that same compound.
Yeah. So she's accustomed to it, which is about how you're raised.
Right. Yeah. So all of them are in touch with each other. But my brother's son is staying with her now. Even though she's married to an Oyibo who, Oyibo, accept my way.
That's how we are. Families. This is how we are.
Yeah. You know? So, Made is, I think, has a good job. He's making enough money to move out of the house. But he has his own place. He has redecorated it, and you know he's there to stay with
that same
compound.
How they are raised.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Not be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
And so we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person without fortune. At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show. Give for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the cost of Japa, the intangible costs, and all the effects on loved ones and families. And Mariam, I'm going to say something.
Yes, I am, because, you know, while we're talking about this, I was just remembering how it was growing up for me and my grandmother, and then when she passed. Growing up, we're always in our grandmother's house. She was with us. At the weekend, you know, after school, go and help grandma do something. So you go and spend your weekend there, you help grandma, and then come back Sunday night to go home. And then I remember when she was getting old, stubborn woman. I remember my mom would, and everybody trying to move her to our house. She would refuse. It would be neighbors that would be telling us, don't allow Mama stay one more day. She needs your help, you know? Because sometimes, even you, when you see your parents, you forget that they're aging right before you. You know, they just always seem the same. Yes, but people on the outside looking in will point it out. And because she was so stubborn, she didn't want to. But eventually, you know, she moved into our house, and she lived many years before she passed on. Now, she passed on, and I was at work, and it was so devastating for me. I cried. A colleague said, "Are you crying for your grandmother?"
No.
But she was old now. I said, so what? Was she a piece of furniture? Because the piece of furniture is 80 years old, you throw it away. You think that's how? But I understood it's because growing up for that person, it wasn't a deliberate thing to grow up with their grandparents. So they can actually divorce themselves from the feeling of grief or whatever it is that comes from losing a grandparent. So it's not that person's fault. It's just that you don't have that connection because it was never deliberately raised that way. And my mother, okay, sorry. Okay, my mother comes over a lot, you know, to Lagos. I grew up in Jos. But, you know, in scarce resources everywhere, looking for better opportunities, I left Jos and I moved to Lagos. Imagine if we couldn't afford flight tickets back and forth. And she comes to Lagos. Remember, I've always talked about how I've been dealing with my son and it's been hard. But my mom is fully in control of that relationship. And it shows the importance of having family around. So we need to be deliberate about making sure we're raising our children to understand the importance of all the other members of the family, and that, yes, when our parents are getting old, we can provide them the comfort that they need in their old age. But that is, lastly, just to point out that is what we lose when we leave this country and go abroad in search of greener pastures. Not because we hate our family or we don't want to do well by them, but we have to go and survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Anointed, thanks for calling. You're live. Hello? Oh, I'm so sorry I lost that call.
Okay, so I wanted to bring...
Nima, before I come to you, I'm coming to you actually, because there was something you said, I'd like us to talk about it a bit more. You know, that usually when these things happen in the past, one child is often left. Who's there? Whose job? But today, no child wants to be left behind. Everybody wants to go. So how can we modify that system such that even if every child wants to look for greener pasture, because they're like, I'm also deserving of a greener pasture. I have a family member too, all the siblings that he was, when I was left, he felt resentment because others were doing well. They were sending him money. He felt okay. He was a big boy, but there was not something that I never had the opportunity for greener pasture.
Because you didn't, if you raise them as a tribe, they'll cover for whatever lapses the other person has. The example I was going to go there, that, you know, we're talking about where we have available resources. And we're not talking about some age ailments, old age ailments that, you know, is their life dilapidating. The person will just be there. I had my late father's friend. She was paralyzed. She would not leave her room. And every Friday, at least twice a week, he would go there. When he passed before her, we were deliberating amongst ourselves, who go they do this, who go they visit Alaja? Nobody get that time. Our last born, who stayed longer with him and used to go with him, maintained it till she passed. Now, when you raise them to understand that it's a duty, when one person is fixing that duty, the person who is working will not talk down at that person. You know, I have not had the opportunity to fully care for my mom, except maybe 2 months since she's been in this condition. And my sisters have done it. Whenever we are seated at family, I'm the last person to talk. Who gave me right to talk? Because I have not done the work. No matter how much money I may be putting down, it's not comparable to the sacrifices that they've made. So I will lose the right to talk. When my sisters are complaining, the shoes that I'm not wearing, I cannot understand it.
I'll come to that in a second. Let me take Shola. Shola, thanks for calling. You're live.
My name is actually Fola.
Oh, Fola, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Fola, yes. Okay, so this is a very interesting topic, and I completely agree with Tara. I completely agree with Tara. It's what you put in. is how you raise your children. That is what you are going to get eventually. When children are growing up, unfortunately, you're working, you're leaving them, they don't realize most of the time. They want you are not at PTA, you are not with them when they are growing up, you have not built any tangible relationship. And then you send them abroad. At the end of the day, connection is not built overnight. You cannot just build that connection overnight. If you raise your children to love and to care and to appreciate you, it doesn't go away. No matter how busy they are, that love, that compassion will compel them to always find a way, no matter how tight it is. But when the compassion is not there, where the love is not there, they just send money home. And they feel like, well, that's all mommy, that's all daddy needs to survive. Because the love is not there, the compassion is not there. Growing up, my own parents, I didn't grow up. I was raised by my grandmother. My dad went abroad to the UK to study. My mom went with him. We were raised, 5 of us were raised by my grandmother. The connection I had with my grandmother, of course, I don't have with my mom. Since my mom is 81 now, I love her because she's my mom. I love her, we talk and all of that. But I won't lie to you, I don't miss her. I don't miss her enough. I want to go and, she comes to Lagos to see me. But you know how that you miss people. And these are things that you cannot force.
Right.
You cannot pretend.
Thank you very much, Bola. Yeah, you're right. While she was talking, I was remembering that my father was ill for many years, and I have a brother who was I have lots of brothers, but there was one in particular that he was constantly sending money home, but he wasn't coming home. He wasn't really interested. So there was that. He didn't have a compelling reason to come home until my dad died. My mother said, "If you love me, you will come." So he came home for the funeral, but people were shocked because we were seeing him in Nigeria for the very first time. This boy, you have this son. They didn't have a clue. So it was about the relationship because that he had with my dad. He didn't think there was a need. So as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm calling him. He's hearing my voice. But it doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that was the reality.
But that's the truth. You know,
I'll come back to you.
I'd like to contribute a little bit. And Nigerian fathers, I think it's changing, but they must recognize that the minute your wife leaves to go and take care of the baby, many Nigerian men are left alone in Nigeria. The wife goes to do mugo, right? Many times they start to complain that no one is here with them. But what happens is that a lot of men think that taking care of your children is only about the financial, the provision, the school fees. But if you don't cultivate relationship with your children, what you give is what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to emphasize and talk about giving up something for a loved one when they are old or in need. So we talk about this importance of working material. It's now that we're even raising kids with materialistic mentality that we see kids who don't know that sometimes you might need to give up something to be with that older person. When my younger sister resigned, we are 4 older ones, and she's the last born. And she resigned to be with my mom at the time my father passed. I felt I had failed because it's not her place. We are 3 elder sisters, 3 first girls, and the last one had to be the one to understand the role of giving up something. I said, no, I can work from home. And then later she said, I don't even have to work. She needs me more. That's all kind of upbringing. The last caller was talking about raising your kids with compassion. My parents were extremely sheltered us. They were extremely compassionate. I only learned love from home. But with time, we're growing, we're thinking, I need to make a name, I need to make money, I need to do all of this. We're confusing it. So when she did that, as important as money was in the scheme of things, what she did was bigger.
That's debatable. Let me come to you in a second. Oluwaseyi, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you for the topic of today. God bless you richly. I want you to note 2 or 3 things about the topic you raised this morning. You know, I want to support YK. YK, God bless you. Life is about value. What value do you put in your children? From birth to where they are today. That's number 1. Number 2, if you don't have a good input, you can never have better output. Life is also about input and output. Note that one too. And number three, there are parents that live with their children. You think you are living with them, but you are far from them. If you look at it perspective, you wonder where they are going. Not about them traveling abroad. Okay, you are talking of Japa syndrome traveling abroad now. Have you ever considered a scenario whereby they have not left Nigeria? You don't know how many people you have in Nigeria now. They never travel abroad. But they never see their parents for at least once in 5 years ago. And they're all in Nigeria. If you ask them questions, they tell you, oh, the cost of traveling is much, I can't afford this, I can't do this, I can't do that. When we are talking about Japa syndrome, let's also look inward first. To check what have we done at home to correct abnormality.
Thank you very much, Olashi. That's an important point. Mike, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like Tara said, like he's what was his name? Sheyi?
Olashi, yeah.
If we don't start it right now, I wanted to give an example. I wanted to give an example of.
Let me go on a short break. When I come back, I'll let you take that example because I was going to go to what Nima said earlier. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Welcome to the sacred month of Ramadan, a time of reflection, renewal, and spiritual growth. Throughout this show, we will delve into the essence of Ramadan. Welcome.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies. So
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, And number 1, unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter, and I think we've all highlighted the issues. But I really would like us to focus a bit on the solution. So many people are in those shoes. Especially what Mariam said earlier, that I can't afford it. I'm still struggling. I'm a taxi driver. I'm trying to pay bills. I have I'm trying to settle down in Canada. I can't even do these things. I can't go back yet. Mommy said sold the whole house so I can leave. I cannot. So that's the reality. I'm a compassionate child, but I want to come home. Going back also to what Nima said earlier, that the child that sacrifices or chooses to stay also has dreams.
Should be covered.
She would, yeah, but you see, it depends on how do you cover, because inherently she also feels that if I was allowed to travel too, I will make more money and I'll get married, have my own children, have the family. So he or she also has their own valid dreams that nobody is really considering in the scheme of things. So how do we really move forward? What's the future like? How do we ensure going forward that all the family members are well taken care of in this situation?
I like that. Okay.
I think that, because my own closeness with my family started from my parents. And I guess their own closeness started from their own parents. So I remember when I was a child, my mom my siblings and I, we used to fight, we hated each other. One day my father called us, said, "Are you all mad?" Then he put matches together. Then he built something, and then he scattered it and said, "That's what you will be. You will be scattered." So you have to stay together to be strong, to be one. From that day till today, if you fight, even if my brother is wrong, you fight my brother, you have fought me. I don't care. You fight my sister. So we formed that bond, and then we've carried that bond on to our children. It doesn't matter if you're in different parts of the world. That call to your mom, I think, is very, very important. That call to your dad is very, very important. Even if they probably sent you off because they want you to. But they didn't send you off to go and abandon them.
Exactly.
Because that is what happens. You go and then you say, I'm busy. I'm a taxi driver. There's somebody that sacrificed for you to be there. So you have to think of that person. And I think we need to train our children to have that sacrifice in them.
Yeah. I think everything boils down to how we raise, our children, and it's important. And then sometimes, if you were not raised that way, hopefully as an adult, you're hearing conversations like this and making the necessary steps to change it. But we're talking about the child that sometimes stays back and makes sacrifices. I remember very young, when my grandfather passed on, I was still in primary school. But I recall my mom always being so grateful to my auntie, their youngest. She says, she was really there to take care of him in times where, he had gotten to a state where he needed help, in the mornings to do everything. And she would be so grateful to her, and I don't think that she ever felt that she was the one left with the burden of taking care of she just understood.
Yes.
Everyone else had family and they had gone away and they were doing things, but you know, they realized the sacrifice she was making, they were appreciative of it, and she also understood where they were at the point, you know, in their lives and what they could give at that time. And there are some people that is those that stay back actually that enjoy the benefits of staying back. Sometimes you stay back with family where everything else is left to you, you know, if there's any material wealth left, or just the memories of even being with that person, or even having your children grow with that person. I have other cousins, but the memories that my mother's children, that's us, with our grandmother, our cousins, the other cousins don't have. We always have that above them. So the reason I'm highlighting that is that sometimes we should not always see that as a disadvantage. That is also an advantage to be the one who is there to take care, and that sometimes those people that you think they are abroad and living the high life, they feel that lack. They feel that you have something that they can never have.
So, let me take Lizzie from Abuja. Thanks for calling you live. Lizzie, go ahead, please. You know, when my father died, I was so grateful I had the opportunity to take care of him. So when they were doing all the burial, everyone were crying. Hey, I didn't even cry.
Cry finish.
I cared for him. I fed him. I did everything. So I felt like there was a special blessing upon me because I was there at the last moment. So for somebody who wasn't there, I said, so what happened? How did I do? And I'm just thinking to myself, I can just give you the story, but you weren't there. So you're right. There's that thing where you feel like I was there with him.
Sending your kids to study outside or to travel away from you does not mean you've taken away their problem-solving ability. When there's a problem in family, it must be solved in a way that if there are 4 or 5, or maybe 1, or like, rather is even more than 1 child, where she's working. You know, so if there are more than 1, they can sit together and say, okay, this has to work. Okay, I can do this. In these days of working from home, I can change my career, I can do this, I can do that. My younger sister just finished the course recently. I had to fund it because she prefers to be around loved ones. Okay, you want to do this, don't worry, we'll find the means. We'll call the other siblings. So I'm not gonna bring A, bring B. This is what we are doing now. We do it together so that she's empowered to continue to be there. It is problem solving. When you are outside, you can decide, this taxi where I drive this place is costing me more back home. Can I drive taxi at home and be with my mom? Can I make it work? It's not like this mentality of we must earn materialistically. We consider the only fulfillment that materialistic earnings. There's fulfillment in being with your loved ones. See what Moriah was giving, the example she's giving, she's done grieving. You know, when your loved one is in that kind of state and they finally passed, you're grateful that death itself is mercy at that point. So you're done with the grief. The person that wasn't there will now come like me when my father passed. After he had been calling me, I thought this man can never die now. He's very healthy. And then suddenly the grief will be with you forever.
Let me take this call for Monday. Surule's been holding for a while. Monday, you're live. Oh, I'm so sorry. You see, let me come to you, Tara. Talking about solution again. When you want compassionate children, do they have to be biological? Because you see, a lot of these are our mothers and our fathers whose children live abroad. They spend time in church. They spend time in community activity. You are part of VGC community. They're doing. You see a lot of seniors coming out because their children are. So that's how they're finding love elsewhere. From the story I gave, there's a man saying that my nephew stayed. So when we expect, should that love come from your biological? Should parents today begin to divorce themselves from, okay, my children have gone. There's a possibility they're not going to come back. There's a possibility I might not get that love from them. Let me find other children in Nigeria who can be. Do you think that's
sure, I mean, speaking of VGC now, for example, the charity work is really focused on senior citizens. And the reason why is because we have a community of retirees. And we care for the retirees because we also understand that they are part of our community. And I think that maybe also it's cultural that we care for people. And because of that reason, if it doesn't matter that this is not my mom, right? Recently, a friend of ours who lives in Dubai, her mom had just moved to an estate where one of our friends lives. And she immediately took her children to go and visit new grandma, right? And this is, her children are not here, but then you are my friend, and I'm here. I will visit your mom and invest in that relationship. So I do agree with you.
You see, Tara, that is what I'm talking about. That is the African way. Africans care for each other. It does not have to be biological.
We're getting somewhere.
It can be. Look, my friend, and this is in England, her neighbor, someone in church, she was going there looking at her, and she used to call her grandma. They were not
for sure.
Related in any way. She was looking after this lady.
Cultural societies. So, for example,
that is the African way.
So my mom lives in England as well, and during COVID, for example, it was the Ishekiri groups that would identify who are all the people who are above 75 years old that are part of our community, and they were going to their homes. They could not go into the houses, but they were bringing food to them to say, "This is it," because even though it is outside of Nigeria, we are family. Yes.
Let me take this call. It's been holding for a minute. Lizzie, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Please go ahead. You're live. Sorry for keeping you.
Thank you. Well done, ladies. And I'm glad that there are already custom solutions to taking care of our elderly ones. But the challenge here is now that we are sending a lot of the children abroad, I believe the children will be seeing how the abroad people are taking care of the elderly ones. So why don't we begin to go into developing communities? And I mean, in Nigeria, boarding schools are big. Yes, it doesn't look like it's the African thing, but then we need to start creating the communities, enlisting parents that don't have the children around, and then all that money and all that support that a family member wants to give can be given in a structured environment. So that's my take on it, because as it is now, we need to start taking solutions more than just speaking plenty to. Thank you, lady.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up on this, and I think let's take a few comments as we wrap up. On any comments on social media, so we can.
Someone says some families are so damaged and destroyed that by hatred that even to agree on how to take care of a parent is a serious issue.
What about raising kids?
Says, just imagine how to tell my sister's husband. That's Afsa. Says, I'm just imagining how to tell my sister's husband that I want us to be in the same area. I would love to, but it's not feasible in our reality.
Yeah.
Madam, big cases. And Yanni is talking about family in a normal situation. Some family members don't even see eye to eye. Talk more of living in a community-like setting.
Need to work on that.
That is a very important
point. Moses Lawal says vital.
We should talk about.
Okay. Moses Lawal says vital social bonds that should have been created during a child's development is being replaced by technology. Go to homes on weekends and everyone is glued to phones, tabs, and TVs. Even 2 to 3 year olds. Foundation for lonely future. It's very important.
This, what she said about what of families that don't see eye to eye, how do we solve that kind of problem? Because there are
goes back to the raising, YK. How you raise your children.
What she mentioned it. YK, my siblings and I, if you see us, in fact, I'm sure that everybody who lived around us can remember our fights. We fight as if we can bring down our father's house. And because we're all women, you English, you tell me this, you keep quiet, you don't talk back. We did all of that. But as we grew older, I remember that my first few years of marriage, I lost weight. Not because I wasn't eating, but because I didn't enjoy my food. I was missing the people who usually sit together and eat it. So there's always love, even though there's sibling rivalry. What is worse is when the parent who is sitting chooses a side. You're destroying that bond. My parents would let us exhaust our energy. When we now tire, everybody be going back into their room, be asking.
But you know, there's
because some children jack back to escape
that what they thought was
because
they're not looking back
and wasn't managing it.
Exactly.
But there's something else I want to mention. You know, and Tara sort of you alluded to it when you talked about fathers too needing to spend more time. And I also think that in our culture, the burden of keeping families together is left only on the female child. It's the female that stayed back and take care of daddy and take care of... Yes, men need brothers, uncles, fathers. You know, you need to do more on that part, because you find the mother side of the family is keeping her own side connected. But the father's side, you can't go to your father's side and feel comfortable because that bond was not formed. Your father did not make the deliberate effort in making sure that you were connected with your cousins.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases, but it's something that is quite common in our culture. Because you find a lot of people that will tell you, I'm closer to my mother's side of my family than my father's side. I'm not saying that they are
my mother's side and I'm close to my father, all my cousins.
But you explained that in your own situation, it was deliberate. So they understood why it had to be so.
Women are also more relational.
Yes.
So I would also say, and this is what I have done in my own setting, I have made sure that my children spend time with their cousins on their father's side.
Yes.
And because we are more relational, mothers have to remember that we also have that responsibility. I would say that we can, I know it's controversial, but I would say that women should also take the responsibility to make sure that their children are not only close to the siblings on their side. They should actively do, because there's a reason why we have these families, both sides. And as women who are more relational, please let's also apply it and support and assist our husbands, because it doesn't come naturally to men. And so because it doesn't come naturally to men, women can rise up to the occasion, and it's fine to do so.
I agree with you, because I distinctly remember my father carrying me to his brothers, where I grew up, Dotunbe Gabi, so we were also close.
Why? See, the point is that these days things are different, Tara. I cannot. The families don't want to take anybody's child because you have issue of defilement. Nobody's watching. The factors we're dealing with doesn't entertain us carrying our children to any brother's house or any cousin's house anymore.
Because of this thing that you there was defilement in those days. Just pray that it doesn't.
You know why? What I'm even saying with a lot of the issues that we're dealing with now is that we have thrown the baby out with the bath water.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend. But therefore,
correcting, correcting, and also putting boundaries in place. It doesn't mean that they don't have to sleep there all the time, but they must
know
visit.
them, and then they know the fault, so don't cover up. So I remember my mom would say, "This pikin, he do something." I'd be like, "Mommy, why are you telling them? Wait to consign me. I don't know you, but my aunties will know this girl. This is her excess. This boy, it was public, and we used to think it was wrong because my neighbor, anything their kids do is secrets in their house. So we know what the kids can do in school, but their mom, she has angels for children. So we'll be compared. My mom will say, no, I will tell your auntie so everybody knows. When you're visiting, you will see them, they'll be doing that. Auntie, don't carry that your bad behavior here. Go and do something. Everybody worked on that excess. But like, these days now, we do the cover-up. And women, I'm coming back to
when Temidire is very bad, and he has done some bad things I just can't say. Rolari will call Alagbule. Do you know what Temidire did?
Exactly.
Everybody would now become. I will say, leave this boy now. Why are you embarrassing him? Temidire, hey, gosh.
So everyone will now be on the
knows the secrets.
My mom even took it far. It was our neighbors. Come downstairs.
Let me take a few
go on.
comments. It's a comment I've been holding for a while because I thought it was important. Abandoning parents in their vulnerable years. This is from Otumba Karim. Abandoning parents in their vulnerable years, despite their sacrifice, is heartbreaking. Lavish celebrations after their passing contradict the values of honoring parents emphasized in Holy Scriptures. Now, this issue of giving our parents a befitting burial.
It's cultural.
For me, it's cultural. Yes. I mean, I'm trying to see how to say it. Where I understand people saying, oh, you shouldn't do that because you're not there in their lives. But the truth is that part of the legacy that I want to leave for my own children to realize that my parents had a befitting burial. So I think that we always make it look like it's a bad thing to give your parents a
burial cover. So the requirement to give your parents a befitting burial is that they were well cared for.
You will give them a befitting life.
A befitting life. Where I'm from, where we have the Diogbe custom, is that you give them a good life. So at the burial, where you are spending the money in our custom, they even bring out the wives. So you to which role did you play in this mama's life? You will come out. That day they will judge you. Your food can be rejected. If you like, Korea or Lopo from the Lagos of Lagos, you will cook your food and they will ration. Some people will come, no, when mama was sick, she did not show up. They will discuss all of that and they can say, okay,
interesting.
That's they will
your own food.
Yes, they will reject your food at the burial. It's not now that everything gets as if you now they chop anyone. But in those days, I remember when my grandmother died.
So you have to earn
prepared.
You have to earn your place
travel.
To be even there.
I saw my mom palpitating because when my grandmother died, my mom was on edge, and my grandmother was terminally ill, but they didn't know. And so when she came back and she had passed, my mom was palpitating on her way to burial. She bought everything. My mom described what she went through when she came back because my auntie had gone around to say she was not there when my mother died. I was the one that did everything. My mom was on her knees saying, "I'm a daughter of this town. My father is so and so." At the burial, when she came back, she was describing that I'm his daughter of so and so. How can you think I will abandon? She explained her unavailability. So we have befitting burial. It's not be party. It's now that it's not just partying, and it used to be that you did there.
We need to wrap up.
Can we just talk about this befitting burial because me, I don't.
Okay, that's a topic for another day.
This befitting burial.
You don't understand.
You brought
I was careful to bring it up. I don't want us to focus on befitting burial matter because
I need to.
We'll discuss
it's a big problem for me because I don't know what a befitting burial.
You gave your father a befitting burial.
No, don't worry.
We didn't spend a dime.
The dead have died.
All we did is we rented TBS. We didn't serve. Partner we did not serve. We carried his body for people to see, and we took him and buried him. We
didn't do party.
We gave him a people's burial. Not where we go, everybody wear base.
You did not give him a befitting burial, Jerry. Let me tell you,
excuse me, I got to a lot of these burials, and I'm sitting there. Why am I here?
Did you understand that we are the ones that will share meat and tell you whether he died befittingly? We will tell you when we are eating the meat and the jollof rice. You bury your papa.
I've given Mariah this gist before. She laughed. I said when I first moved to Lagos, when they say someone's burial, someone's funeral, I will go thinking, you know, I have to dress, look. Then I will find out that I look like the chief mourner. Meanwhile, the families are looking.
Yes,
it's different in Lagos.
Let's not deviate because I don't want to talk about this befitting the burial matter. I mean, Lagosian parties in our blood. We give our family befitting burials in this town. So don't even try that. Going back to our matter, engineer.
I will ask you. Are you the one that killed my mother or my father? Why do you want to eat rice? Are you all right?
Okay, Miss Engineer Tijani said the first thing is to pray to God to grant us children. And I think we can wrap up with this. Grant us children who will be kind and merciful towards us than we show to them. So the second thing is to assess ourselves, how we have raised these children, especially to assess how we treated our own parents while raising these children in their presence, right? To get involved and understand why we treated our own parents in such a manner. Apart from peer influence, there is no well brought up children that would abandon their parents, and karma is real. He was now quoting something from the Quran saying that, and your Lord shall and your Lord has decreed that you worship none but him, and that you be dutiful to your parents. If one of them or both of them attain old age in their life, say not to them a word of disrespect, nor shout at them, but address them in terms of honor. So
honor your father and your mother.
So I think we have to wrap up. But I think somebody said it on one of the callers, says, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Some people are in Nigeria, they don't see their parents. So it's how you raise your children with compassion, with love, whether they feel compelled to continue that relationship with you, no matter where they're part in the world. So I think that either way is how we raise. And I love YK's model, where the kids are used to being in that place. So no matter where they are in the world, they come back, and it helps them to build those everlasting relationships. That is all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we have our interview with Tara. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, give for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rama, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah, pole dancer does not
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see some spoils?
That woman.
Damn!
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
And
to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned to TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Welcome to the sacred month of Ramadan, a time of reflection, renewal, and
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching?
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us here with Tara is a lawyer, principal partner Lola Bolariwa, and co-chairman of the BGC PORA. She will be speaking on the celebrating 30 years of the visionary living at Victoria Garden City, a legacy of innovation, inclusion, and inspiration. Welcome with us, Mrs. Bola Bolariwa. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you so
much. I know you're here with Tara because she had reached out to us about some celebration of 30 years in VGC. But I'll come to you, Tara, first before you can bring it to Mrs. Lola. We know you as an entrepreneur. We know you as a global icon because people see you as a woman who's helped and empowered lots and lots of thousands of women around the world. Yeah. But then you've been involved in community. I'm wondering, how does that work? So tell us a bit about your involvement and how much you've been part of this community.
I mean, if you know my story, you know that I'm someone who's big on community, whether it's from a Nigerian standpoint, or it's from a Lagos state standpoint, or it's from my smaller community, which is our little city called Victoria Garden City. I'm a huge part of giving to my community. And I've had that the rare opportunity to have lived all of my married life in this Victoria Garden City. I've been there for 23 years.
Wow.
The estate has been around for 30 years. That's where I had all my children, gave birth to them, raised them. They even want to live in VGC when they are older.
Look at that.
Yes, and it's a wonderful community. I think the inspiration around it is that somebody like me had a dream. You know, as an entrepreneur, I had a dream, build a business. Somebody had a dream, and the dream was to build this sort of serene environment. He called it the lagoon, the paradise by the lagoon, and his inspiration was, how can I create a gated community that has everything in it? Places of worship. So you have a Foursquare church, you have a Redeemed church, you have a Winners church, you have a Catholic church, you have an Anglican church, you have a recreational center, you have 2 parks. So when the kids were little, you could take them to the park and they could play there.
Yeah.
You know, I had boys, so just you need a place where they can go and play so that they are tired. By the time they are tired, you can bring them home to come and sleep. And then the school, they went to school in VGC. They rode their bicycles to school in the morning and came back. You didn't bother about, whether you're in traffic for X number of hours, right? And then you can go to the school, and if there's a problem, they call you, can go there and smack the child. You know, so, but I think also from a longevity standpoint, if it's 30 years, and of course as an entrepreneur, like I said before, even when we're talking about the Vanguard story, for me, it's such an inspiration for someone to have a dream like that, build it, and it's still being sustained 30 years after.
Come to you, Mrs. Lola.
Okay, when we talk about VGC, you know, a lot of people have not really been in the estate. We have over almost 3,500 homes. We have over 10,000 people staying there. And we have everything. We have the school, we have everything. And I think in Nigeria right now, the security is the best because you can't just drive into VGC. You have to have a code to come in. And, you know, most of the things are automated. And it will amaze you that we have security 24/7. We have a situation room whereby with cameras and all the CCTV.
So facial recognition. Facial recognition?
Facial recognition, really. And when you're walking around the estate, somebody comes and tells you, oh, you're not supposed to be here because they can see you from the control room. Okay. And sometimes when you are not at home and you have told us that you're traveling, and we see movement in your houses, we can say, oh, who is in your house? We can see movement. So
if you urinate on the road, we'll find you. We'll catch you.
That's 15,000.
And by the time you get to the gates, you will not be able to exit.
but I mean, okay, go ahead.
Yes. So, but you're celebrating 25 years.
30 years.
30 years, because you said 27 years. I was yes. You're celebrating 30 years. What are you celebrating, really?
Okay, really, what we're celebrating is unity in diversity.
Okay.
Because we have so many people from everywhere there. And despite the fact that Nigeria, you know, we all think that we're different and everything, but we've been able to live together for 30 years with different associations of Abia, Imo, or your state, Kogi people, Lebanese, Indians. And at the end of the day, the diversity in which we have been able to live together, administer the estate, is 30 years, and you won't even know. People are even shocked that it's 30 years, but it's 30 years. And the whole place, if you still come there, is intact.
Okay, this is the kind of dream I have. Growing up, I thought I would have a functioning estate where everybody will. But I live in a place where we are different. We can sit at landlord meetings. One person will tell you, maybe you are the one that have money, you're talking about this. So how did people arrive at, because you said this somebody's vision, but how did you arrive at the technological innovations, the security, and even committing to obeying those rules that maybe were members of the CDC, the Community Development Committee, decisions? How do you cooperate and make it work?
I think, first of all, we have a very strong governance system. We have a solid board of trustees of very highly successful, sophisticated, and exposed people. Also, in terms of people who, first of all, lived in the estate, because it was almost like you have to own your home to live there. I think they upheld that because they understood the power of the impact economically. Because if the value of the estate, if the values drop, then the value of the buildings and the land will also drop. So they're very keen and strict on that. Of course, it's not perfect. We have moments where we've had people who flaunt those rules and whatever, but we're very strict around policing. Police something, right?
Policing, yeah.
They would send you messages, for example, your domestic staff can't sit outside on a chair just randomly. They'll pick them up. Animals, dogs, if you have a stray dog, they will pick your stray dog up. There are many rules. And sometimes even Uber drivers don't want to come in because they're like, hey, we don't want to carry you to VGC because VGC's rules are too many. Because you'll be fined. And I think it's about governance. So when the rules are put in place, if you pack a car overnight in VGC, they clamp your tires.
That's 25,000.
25,000 naira. To
okay, so I'm hearing lots of fines and bills. And where's the fun part? So what are you celebrating? Please.
It is the
tell us the fun part.
Tell us the events, about the event.
Okay, so we have 7 days of celebration.
Okay. 7 days.
7 days of celebration. We're celebrating, number one, a charity walk. We're doing a charity walk because we're very passionate about the senior citizens. So we're focusing on senior citizens and children with special needs. So we're going to walk around our estate. It's about 5 kilometers, right, to celebrate that, have a good time at the end of it. We're also having a Remembrance Day. And Remembrance Day is to remember, first of all, the founder who's passed away, but also everyone who's passed away, who's the residents of VGC. So families are coming with their flowers and lights to just remember, and candles to remember them. We also have a tree planting ceremony. So it's a green environment. We're very big on greens, right? So yes, so it's a green environment. We have quite a number of very active environmentalists living in the estate. So we're asking our residents to sponsor a tree. So people are buying trees to replant, and we're putting some of the old trees that have now, you know, aged or whatever, and they're now disrupting the system. Then we also have our carnival. And our carnival is something we do almost every year, where talking about diversity, all the different tribes, Ishekiris, Abia, Urobos, you know, Indians, Lebanese, come together one day to walk around the estate and showcasing their culture, their food. Sometimes, some people, they have, last year we had the masquerade from Lagos.
Yeah,
there.
We had,
this year we have
the masquerade from this year. We're going to have the Fanti people come in, dance around the estate. We have all the masquerades from the East coming and all that. And also it's to show, because you know, our children are kind of gated and all that. But to let them know that we have culture and values in Nigeria. And, you know, some of them are seeing a masquerade for the first time. And, you know, they are asking questions, they are learning. So the celebration is all wrapped up in learning, diversity, understanding more of...
So is the public invited?
And the awards.
And the awards, of course. Yeah, every year we get people who come for all these events because, like, you know, there are so many things to learn and to unlearn as you see the things that are going on. And sometimes some of all these fabrics and fabrications that you have heard in the past about things, you see them live.
Talking about that, because I know that your estate has experienced some bad press sometimes, you know. And when we hear of your estate, we think of, kids who are spoiled and stuff that's happening. And so there's a perception you have, especially of that estate. How are you guys working on that? And what are you guys doing to change that perception out there?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, because I know that I've watched your program in time past.
Come down on your estate.
Yes, several times. And sometimes when I look at it, you know, we have over 10,000 people living there. And when you have a large, it's like, in fact, they should give us a local government, actually. When you have a large number of that kind of people, you have different people living there. And sometimes when these things happened, we're able to track it down and see that, okay, this is what we'll not do again. So the perception out there sometimes is that, oh, VGC. Some people say, if you come in there, they'll kidnap you. No, it's full of lovely people. And you will be shocked.
That is why we have to make some noise during this 30th, because we haven't said our own story. We've allowed the press and some of the small bad eggs. I mean, my own children want to live in VGC. So it shows that they loved the experience of their childhood there in the estate. So we want to use this opportunity as we're celebrating 30 years. 30 years of innovation, because that's what VGC stands for. 30 years of inclusion, because we have so many communities that have lived harmoniously all these years. But 30 years also of inspiration, because this is a solid... look at how we even ran the elections, for example. We consistently showed this over and over again. And so we want to talk about it. So we're in the press as much as we can this time to share our own story, so that the story that is currently out there can be changed to our own story.
And Tara, you can see the way we run. Our elections are like picnics. Everybody wants to come. And like Tara mentioned, the governance process is so solid that it's like we have the Senate, the House of Rep, we have the communities, we have road reps, you know, so there's always a level of engagement.
I'm told that we have to get off TVC News right now. We have an event. Anambra government holds a bus summit enhancing transportation infrastructure. So we'll be cutting off TVC News. But those of you watching us online can continue watching us on YouTube and also on GOTV and StarTimes. So now, again, going back to your 7-day celebration. So you said there's a gala night. So but you've not answered my question. Now that you're talking about it, is the public and all of us in Lagos just come to VGC that day? No. Can we just show up, or you're just telling us?
Me and my chair were arguing over that. She wants people to come, and I'm like, no, this is for VGC residents to just enjoy.
Yeah. Why are you not telling us?
We're telling you so that you will stop talking about how bad the small problems that we have. That's all people talk about. We want to talk about our innovation. We want to talk about our inclusion. We want to talk about our inspiration. That's why we're here.
We're still.
Now
of
you
course,
have this story now. Be watching.
No. You can actually come because I know that I know that a lot of people come year in year out because it's an opportunity to learn, and we're trying to give back to the larger community.
Do you know why I agree with you that we should come? Is that there are many communities like that across Lagos, and they're struggling with how to keep themselves together and be beneficial to the community members. And if they have an opportunity to see how it's done up close, it will be very helpful. So please.
Okay, please, I'm inviting you guys.
We're inviting everybody because from what she said, what she said, it's an opportunity for other smaller estates.
Yes.
So because in terms of size, I think we're the largest in the whole of the country. And so other small estates can learn from us, chair of the committee. Please let them come so that they can see what we're doing.
So you're giving awards of your founders. So there's a gala night, there's a walk. What else did you say they had? There's a carnival.
There's sports tournaments.
Okay, there's sports, so chess, badminton, tennis, basketball.
So when you do it, that's interesting. So is it seniors versus the youngsters, parents versus children?
Yes, they have their, and then we also have a youth debate fair, children's fair, and in collaboration with Chrisland School.
Because I'm coming to VGC.
Yes.
VGC is creme de la creme. I'm expecting the food is free. That I'm not paying for shishi. No, that everything will be food.
No, everything you want will be free.
No, because viewers are less like, those rich people are having something that let's go and be there because it's free food though.
But you need codes to come,
There's really plenty to eat and drink if you come for the carnival because it's a time for showcasing, a time of love. Yes. People come out.
We even have a palm wine stand.
Yeah.
And we have a market square in the center. Just all Nigerian delicacies to enjoy.
I want to know what it's like after the 7-day party. Like, everybody, do you get a holiday and say, after the 7-day party, let's just rest. Don't leave the gate.
Let's talk about the dates. What dates are it?
So 16th, this is the Saturday. This Saturday is a charity walk. So we're going to start from 6:30. And then on Sunday, we will then go to the senior citizens' home to present what we have. On Monday, we'll have the Remembrance Day, which is the day where we have solemn ceremony for people who have passed away. Then the next day we have the tree planting ceremony. So where we actually, people that bought trees, we've sold almost 200 trees. We'll plant the trees on that day. We'll start to plant some of the trees. And each tree has a name. So people buy the trees and put their family names on the trees. And then after that, we have the sports tournament. And the first tournament will be the badminton and the basketball. And then we'll have chess. And then we have soccer. And then on Saturday, we'll have the carnival, which is like the big event. And on Sunday, we'll have the award ceremony where we're going to be celebrating our community members who have given back, the Fit Farm, the people who have been they're so good with their, because, it's a healthy lifestyle environment. Yeah. Yes, you want to contribute.
Well done. So I think we'll wrap up on that. I was wishing you all the best.
No, but I want to know, which one are you doing? Badminton? Football?
No, we are
the organizers. We're at the walking community. Okay, we walk the community every morning.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm still considering, disagreements because as people are talking, I'm just seeing my estate people at meeting. How do you even how do you do your elections and arrive at who's chair, who's what? How does that happen?
Okay, we have electoral committee. And I know at the time when the vice president came for the elections, then he was like, wow, this should be at the national. You vote, you can vote online, you can vote in person. There's one vote to each house. And, different things, you register. And over the years, we do, what do you call it? There's a night, like a campaign night. You campaign, you go around the estate, you tell people to vote for you, a manifesto of what you are going to do, what you are not going to do, what you are going to improve. So it's like you are living in another country entirely.
I mean, you should see the day of any election in Nigeria. VGC is the place to vote. Because
we saw the last time.
We have the vice president, I think he voted.
Yes. Always.
He voted.
Always. We have canopies.
It's organized.
The management team, they are superb. Like the management team of VGC, they are superb. They will prepare like we are customers. Like customers are coming out to
With
vote.
water,
Drinks, everything, and everything is organized. So if your number is between this number, this is the tent you're going to be seated at. If you are this number to this number, this is
properly organized.
Yes, because
and we
care
even send
enough.
messages, number 100 to, you can start coming to the park. It's time for you to vote.
So you have an estate WhatsApp group?
Oh, yeah.
We even have an app. We have an app.
We have our own.
We need to come
We have app.
Yes, we have our not WhatsApp group. We have our own.
We have our own
WhatsApp app. Not WhatsApp group.
We know. We don't have
Just
to call
needed to
us
be
out.
sure.
Don't call
That's why I
us.
said
Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you something. Many of us are in different communities and estates, and we just feel have someone be the chairman, whatever they need, we don't make our contributions. How important do you think it's for a community member to participate fully in, in this?
It's so important because it brings togetherness and it helps people to grow. There are days when we even showcase the businesses in the estates. We have the farmers market, whereby you don't need to go to mile 12. We bring mile 12 to you, and then you shop and go back to your house every quarter. So and then, that togetherness, you get to meet different people and know. So if you have anything that you want to do, you just say, VGC. We're coming up with a VGC.
It was really cream. Because you are supposed to be buying things expensive.
No.
It doesn't. I'm wondering how many governors, presidents have come out from that estate, because you have to show this and replicate it across our country.
We have a lot, but because of privacy, whatever, we will not. But we have a lot. And then you find out the way we're set up, it encourages even people to go and vie for offices because they see what difference they can make.
I think the other thing also is that people sometimes, because of distance, sometimes people now go and rent places in Ikoyi, for example, because of the distance of VGC. But guess what they will tell you? They keep their homes in VGC. They consider it their country home because it's the only place that you can walk for 1 hour and there's trees everywhere. The road is completely sheltered, shaded. The entire estate, and it's a really clean green estate. When you see our Zion cleaners, that's what they are called, in the morning when they are cleaning, the smile, the greeting, you'll be thinking to yourself,
I'm in Nigeria.
Hey,
and it has been maintained for 30 years.
I always think of water at your entrance.
We fixed that. We fixed it.
See, I didn't know you fixed it because my
entire. Guess what? It wasn't our.
It wasn't our fault. There's a canal by us.
Yes, and it was not being addressed by they know who.
Yeah.
But
and it's affected us. But you know what we now decide to do? We decided, like always, we're taking it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I remember about VGC.
We've taken up the cleaning of the canal, so now we clean the canal. The entrance is
when they became their exco came in, they took all of us. They took us as a group to go and see the canal with our eyes to say this is the reason why there's this crisis. And listen, guys, we need to take this off the government, and we have to do it on a monthly basis. And so you have to commit to it. So we committed to it, and now we clean the canal, so we don't have the floods. This last time that there were rains. As the rain is dropping, it's disappearing.
That's good.
They seem to be very proud of their VGC. Then someone says, please help me to ask them, how much is a plot of land? Says, you want to buy? Says, yes. Another one says, this VGC is like people, you have your own local government in that place. You don't need government.
Anyway, we have to wrap up. But I think wishing you the best on your 30th anniversary. And you said 1 whole week. And for those of us who are invited, we'll come and we'll help you eat your food and on social media that VGC. But we congratulate you. 30 years is not a small feat. But for Tara, I can't let you go.
Okay.
Without just saying a word to Nigerians who are also trying to build something with longevity. They want something, because you've done that, and you live it, you're part of that. Yes. So give us a word of encouragement, because that's one of the issues we have. We don't have that succession plan. We don't have plans. We don't plan for the long term. Yes. It's just for survival today. So as someone who's done it, who's doing it, just give a word of advice to Nigerians who are doing that.
So my co-entrepreneurs who are out there, a quick one. Nigeria is hard, I know, and I agree with you that it's a very difficult place to live and to build a business. However, you must take your eyes off how hard it is and put your eyes on where are the opportunities. Because whatever you focus on, you amplify. Whatever you focus on becomes all that you see. When you see entrepreneurs who thrive, they thrive because they decided to take their eyes off the problem and focus their attention on the solution. So if you want to build for the long term, first of all, focus on where are the opportunities in this mayhem. Secondly, say to yourself, I need to build for the long term. I want to do like Sam Amuka, more than 40 years. I want to do like Punch, more than 50 years. I want to do like House of Tara, more than 25 years. And to do that, you have to put systems and structures in place. Listen, this is not easy, and we're not used to it, because as a people, we can be quite disorganized. But you can make that decision. But when you make the decision, there are steps that you need to take. If you want to know more about those steps, go and study and learn more about building structure.
Thank you so much. We can wrap up on that. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.